First contact was never supposed to happen like this. The official diplomats were still arguing over transmission protocols, translation ethics, and who would get credit in history books. Meanwhile, I was standing alone on a metal platform orbiting Kepler 186f, holding a tablet filled with half-broken linguistic models, staring at the most intimidating being I had ever seen. She stood nearly 8 feet tall, her form elegant yet alien, skin shimmering with faint bioluminescent patterns that shifted with her emotions. Her eyes, large and faceted like cut crystal, reflected not just light but meaning. She was Zyreth, a high matron of the Volari, an ancient species humanity had only detected 3 years earlier. And I was Elias Crow, junior xenolinguist, rank embarrassingly low. The Volari didn't use spoken language the way we did. Their communication combined sound, pheromonal shifts, electromagnetic pulses, and subtle changes in body glow. Translating it was considered nearly impossible. Entire teams had failed. I wasn't supposed to speak at all. I was only there to monitor patterns, collect data, and if things went wrong, run. Zyreth stepped closer. The air vibrated as her presence intensified, the lights along the platform dimming instinctively. Behind the transparent shield, human observers held their breath. She extended one elongated hand, palm upward. The translators failed. Static filled my earpiece. And then she spoke, directly, clearly, and terrifyingly, in Volari Prime. Every translation system went dark. Panic surged through me. Protocol screamed, "Do not respond." But something in her tone, resonant, questioning, almost vulnerable, cut through my fear. My eyes dropped to the tablet. One word glowed faintly on the screen. A fragment I had discovered months earlier, dismissed by senior researchers as ceremonial noise. I didn't know why I said it. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was desperation. I lifted my head and spoke aloud. "Sail, Kara." The platform went silent. Zyreth froze. The bioluminescent patterns along her skin exploded into brilliant color, rippling like a cosmic storm. Her pupils widened and her posture shifted, no longer diplomatic, no longer distant. She dropped to one knee, and every Volari present followed. My earpiece screamed back to life with frantic human voices. "Elias, what did you say?" Zyreth looked up at me, her gaze filled with something dangerously close to awe. "You have spoken," she said slowly, this time in flawless English, the word of binding. I swallowed. What does that mean?" Her voice softened. "It means," she said, "that by our oldest laws, I have just proposed marriage." Middle. The chaos that followed defied description. Human command wanted me extracted immediately. The Volari Council demanded a ceremonial confirmation. Both sides accused the other of manipulation. Meanwhile, I was escorted, very respectfully, into the Volari flagship, a cathedral-like vessel grown rather than built. Zyreth walked beside me, her presence calm yet overwhelming. "I didn't know," I said for the 10th time. "I swear. I thought it meant peace or understanding." She tilted her head, patterns glowing gently. "It does," she replied, "but not in the way your species defines it." Inside the chamber of accord, floating glyphs circled us, like living constellations. Other Volari watched silently, their expressions unreadable. Zyreth explained. The Volari were bound by resonance. Their species had nearly destroyed itself millennia ago through fractured communication. To survive, they evolved a system where true understanding required union. The word of binding, Sailkara, was never spoken lightly. It meant, "I see you. I understand you. I choose you to shape my future." To say it aloud to a high matron was unthinkable unless the speaker's intent was genuine. And intent, she said quietly, is not carried by sound alone. It is carried by the mind. My accidental utterance had matched the resonance perfectly. I had meant it. That terrified me. I can't marry an alien dignitary, I said. I don't even know your customs, your biology, your everything. A faint warmth radiated from her skin. Then we learn, she replied. Together. Human leadership attempted to nullify the bond. Lawyers cited lack of consent, mistranslation, coercion. The Volari responded with calm finality. The bond could not be broken without harm to both parties. Medical scans confirmed it. Neural resonance patterns between Zariath and me had synchronized during the exchange. Severing them would cause cognitive collapse. I became, overnight, the most controversial human alive. Protests erupted on Earth. Some called me a traitor, others a pioneer. Memes flourished. But none of that mattered when Zariath looked at me, not as a symbol, but as a person. We spent weeks in shared chambers, learning each other's languages properly. I learned how her species perceived time as layered moments rather than a straight line. She learned why humans feared commitment, yet craved connection. She told me of her past, how Volari matrons rarely chose partners for love, but for stability. How she had expected to rule alone. You disrupted my future, she said once, not accusingly. Sorry, I muttered. Her light shimmered in amusement. No, she said. Grateful. Slowly, something unexpected happened. I stopped feeling like a hostage and started feeling chosen. Ending. The marriage ceremony took place at the luminous nexus, a floating convergence of energy where Volari history was recorded not in stone, but in living light. Human delegates attended, stiff and uncertain. Volari elders formed a circle that stretched into infinity, their glow harmonizing like a silent choir. I wore a ceremonial weave that adapted to my heartbeat. Zariath stood opposite me, radiant beyond words. Before the final binding, tradition demanded one last choice. You may withdraw, the elder voice echoed inside my mind. No harm will follow. The bond will dissolve gently. I looked at Zariath, at the being who had every reason to resent my ignorance, yet had shown nothing but patience, who had bridged a gap no technology could cross, through understanding. I spoke one word. I said aloud, voice steady. But it wasn't an accident. I meant it even if I didn't know how much it meant. Her glow intensified, wrapping around us like dawn. Then speak again, she said softly. This time, I didn't need a tablet. Sail Kara. The nexus erupted into light. I felt the bond settle, not as a chain, but as an anchor. A shared awareness bloomed between us. Not control, not loss. Connection. The galaxy didn't change overnight. There were still treaties to sign, fears to ease, worlds to explore. But something fundamental shifted. Humanity was no longer alone. Not because we had found aliens, but because we had learned how to speak, to truly speak, across the silence. And all it took was one word.